Welcome to the first coaching commentary in the World Cup Tokyo 2022 trilogy. This introduction is to enable viewers to gain an insight into the build-up to the game and the approach we had to it. The preparation began on Thursday the 20th with a debrief of our previous game against the USA. In that game, we had started off the way we finished against Malaysia, but after an early goal, we came down to their level. We started playing longer balls, the diagonal ball reappeared, and we ended up playing down one side of the pitch, which made it easier for them to defend. We would have been able to cut them apart if we'd stuck to the game plan. In the end, 4-0 sort of flattered us. On the morning of the game, Friday the 21st, we discussed the key things we wanted to take into the game. In the previous two games, the philosophy had been conservative, ball retention being the key focus. Today, we want to be a bit more aggressive with our slow, quick, slow approach and look to take on the South African defenders one-on-one in the final third of the pitch. They'd only played one game, which was against a very weak USA side, so we have no real idea how they will defend against us. The key will be to play our processes to see how they react. We also need to keep passes under 15 metres and keep them out of the arc of influence of the defender. We will look to create as much space as possible in their 23, so as soon as we reach it, we want our forwards to go high, with two right on the byline and a third within 7 metres of it. Early indications were that they're not that mobile, so it'd be really important to work them back and forward across the pitch until the right opportunity develops, and to make sure we play away from the traffic. In relation to our own shape, we need to be right on the 50-metre distance apart to make them really work. If we get too tight, it will be easier for them. If we get too wide, it will become tougher for us. Like most teams, they are packing ahead of the circle and their players are strong interceptors and tacklers. We need to make sure the three forwards continue to rotate in the high spaces to move the defence around, but the real key will be the rotation between the half-back and the inside midfield and the centre midfield to create large gaps to drive into with plenty of options. Defensively, they love to play down the right side of the pitch, so let's see how good they are down the left. We will offset the W formation so as to give them the easy pass into the left half. Finally, we want to make sure they turn the later stages of the game so it becomes easier for us. At the start of the third quarter, the forwards will be expected to work hard in 4-minute bursts and to run them around, so forwards, be ready. An hour before the game, we had the pre-match chat. This is the last chance for me as a coach to get players tuned into the game. All mobile phones are switched off and total focus is requested. It is clear that this upcoming game becomes the most important one of the World Cup. What has gone before and what is yet to come are irrelevant. Right now is what matters. We have loads of experience in the squad, but individually you're only as good as your next game. So use that experience to good effect. The USA game was a great leveller after the Malaysian game. Games like today are often decided on a few small things, so the keys you need to take into it are: stick to our processes, just do your job, we don't need more than 5 in their circle, remember the principle of +1 at the back, and always support the last man. Finally, you're not in competition with each other. You know the philosophy is that everyone plays. You're in competition with South Africa, so just be the best version of yourself that you can and we will be fine. Remember to enjoy the moment. Days like these do not come around that often.
The match starts and South Africa immediately try to play down the right as we suspected. We've blocked them off and they move the ball across to the left. You'll see as we come across, we get the W in a reasonable shape, except Eddie has not joined in. However, we break away from the W and the ball is played where we don't want it to go. A great recovery by Richard, who keeps the possession looking for an option, and a lovely overlap from Keith Jess gets the play going. Great ball to Budgie, who unfortunately stops it on the reverse, so when he goes to play the ball in, it goes awry. However, he makes a good challenge to come back, and Richard has the ball. If Eddie had been in closer, he could have passed it to him, but it goes to Keith, and again, Keith finds a lovely ball up to Martin in the corner. At this stage, our 4 people are far too far away on the far side of the pitch, and they need to come over much closer to join in the action. Poor setup at the front allows the ball to go exactly where we don't want it to go. It's great covering back by Carl, who picks up the ball and gives it to Stuart, who unfortunately stops the ball in the wrong place and then tries to pass the ball through the gap of players instead of to Keith, who was totally unmarked. Well, another good move up front, a good lead from Budgie, but unfortunately all our players have run into the circle and no one has backed Budgie up. However, good pressure and the ball has been cleared away. Keith gets too close to Martin and a free is given for not being 5 yards away. However, we are extremely slow to recover, and again we allow the South Africans an easy early ball to get the play moving. Good interception by Martin Kremen, and a good early ball finds Budgie in plenty of space with only one man between him and the circle. A good lead into the circle, and the short corner is awarded. We get 5 men into the circle there, and there is reasonable distribution, although Charlie was probably a little too far into the circle. Despite all the talk about corners, it seems as if we need to do a bit more setup. The defenders were set up perfectly. They've got that lovely shape with one either side of the halfway line. However, Budgie is backing up, showing where the ball is going to go. He should be in the neutral zone, instead of which he's directly behind Richard. Once the corner goes in, Budgie has not retreated to the halfway line in order to help the defence, but has in fact stayed upfield. Great line ball from Charlie back to Stuart, who takes a little too long to give it to Brendan, whose body shape is all wrong, and so instead of being able to come to this side of the pitch, it goes back to Stuarty, who then panics and crashes the ball, and obviously it gets turned over. South Africa now have the ball, and great piece of tackling back enables us to regain possession. Unfortunately, we have a free hit and nobody makes a lead for the baseline. Everybody seems to want to take the ball. Good play from Andy, creating space for Martin Kremen, who wins yet another short corner. Budgie again in the backing up position is telegraphing where it's going to go, and Andy jumps off the line because the umpire's in his road. We discussed how to deal with this in our later team meetings. This is not the best corner in the world. However, Charlie has gone to the wrong place and Martin has moved to the wrong place. If Charlie had gone in the keeper's pads and Martin had been on the post as they should have been, who knows what might have happened. We get a line ball. And Brendan should have let the ball go past him so that he could pass it round the back, instead of which he takes it in a position which enables him to get robbed. Good news is we have so many people coming back to help out, that when the ball breaks to us, we are able to launch a quick counter-attack. However, for some reason, Budgie decides to hit a massive long ball instead of playing it short to where all our players are. Ball's gone for a long corner for over 12 seconds, and we still haven't got people up high. Good move here from Keith and Andy. Unfortunately, the ball does not get through. But good play, good rotation from the team. This is really good play here. Lots of patience, ball in a tight area. Nobody's trying to do too much. Good lead from Martin to take players away. Again, we've kept the ball. And now if Keith can just break this tackle, he's into the circle. But unfortunately, a tackle is made. Very slow at getting set up and still no sign of the W. And they're able to play out round the back reasonably comfortably with very little interference from us. So we've now got a reasonable hit. Brendan comes up to take it, passes it to Richard, which we practiced. This ball should have immediately gone to Carl. For some reason it doesn't. Now Richard could have been pinched, but he eventually gets the ball out to Keith, and this gives us space down the right hand side of the pitch. Not sure why Richard didn't give that ball immediately to Carl rather than playing the long pass. Ball's been off the pitch for some 15 seconds and we still haven't got set up. Eventually we got something that looks like a W, but unfortunately at the last minute Budgie moves. I don't know why. No sign of a midfielder in the back end of that W. We'll have to look at that. Richard's far too far away from Andy, so Andy, not sure what he's thinking here, decides to dribble. He needs to turn and come back, but he just runs into more traffic and the outcome is rather predictable, I'm afraid. So, ball goes off the back line, and again we've got a good 15 seconds to get ourselves set up. However, by the time the ball comes back, we've only got a couple of players who are close to where the ball is. Plenty of options for Stewarty here. Don't want to send it left, but we send it left to where all the pressure is from the South Africans, and the ball is turned over. Luckily enough, it's won back, and we start to play the ball out across the back and into plenty of space for Keith. Good quick free thinking from Keith. Play opens up. Lovely play on the left. Ball to Charlie. On out to Eddie. Great chance to get into the circle. Unfortunately, the pass is just overplayed and Budgie can't bring it under control. But a good play from the back and out. Again, good pressure there. We've forced the ball across to the left and it is missed by their players. Again, no setup to protect us from the head out, but the umpire makes them take the ball back, which would give us a chance to set up properly if only we wanted to. We now have 4 men in the front line. Stewarty is inside Andy. Not quite sure how that forms a W, but they waste possession and we get the ball. Good aerial from Keith. We talked about this beforehand, and Budgie gets on the end of it. Another good lead from him. And good work winning a free hit on the edge of the circle. Good lead from Stuart Switzer, creates a gap for Keith. And Keith unfortunately just pushes the ball too far. And it's a horrible tackle from Budgie on the way back there. Very surprised that the umpire didn't do a lot more than just award a free there. So South Africa trying to move the ball around the back, trying to get a lead out. A reasonable play, but Eddie decides to come in and try and win the ball, and all of a sudden that opens up a great big hole on the other side. Forwards must remain patient and not dive in. The whole job is to force the opposition to pass the ball into our midfield. And now Eddie's too far forward, and they easily get the ball out into the attacking area of the pitch. Long ball down to Stuarty, plenty of time, can give the ball out to Keith, and there's acres of space for Andy to move out into. Good play, good ball from Andy across to Carl, and lovely ball across the pitch. However, Roger tries to force it when he could have made a much more composed pass. Not sure where Andy's going here. He's supposed to be playing inside right, but he's now way over on that side of the pitch, and the ball comes round the back. Again, a good lead by Carl into the middle of the pitch, but we get stuck in traffic and it's cheap turnover ball. Because of the turnover ball, we get caught at the back 2v2, which should not happen. Ball is collected, and at this stage Stuart, I think, already knows where he's going to go. So as soon as the ball's there, he's got a quick pass out to Roger and a good lead out, and all of a sudden we've got the ball in plenty of space and we're able to go forward. Ball comes back round again, and a lovely play. We've got the ball in plenty of space, there's good movement, lovely lead, great take from Billy. Unfortunately his second touch let him down a bit. And again, we're chasing the ball now rather than just covering the ball to make sure it can't get out. However, good pressure from Stuart Switzer there, preventing the forward pass, forces them to hit the ball off the side of the pitch, and we gain possession high up the pitch. Again, Keith sees the opportunity here, over the top of the near man, throws the ball in, and it's well taken by the defender, and I think Henry's a little unfortunate to be called for being too close. Forward line very slow to get set up again, and when the ball goes across the pitch we're very slow to move across with it. Roger needs to throw this ball up to someone else to take, but instead he brings the ball up himself. So we've gone a bit club hockey here. We've got plenty of options around the ball, no disguise from Roger, and all of a sudden Stuarty takes too long and we're under all kinds of pressure. We're dribbling the ball and turning it over in a very dangerous area of the pitch when there were plenty of options on if we'd have moved it early and properly. Another hit out's about to come up. Again, we've lots of time to get everybody in the right place, but we seem to be taking far too much time to get set up. Billy realises that we're not in the right position and makes a good lead back to enable Stuart to play it away from where we end up playing it, which is into a pile of players, and there's a panic clearance from Roger. That ball should never have gone in there. We're just making life very, very difficult for ourselves. South Africa have a bit of possession here, keeping the ball. Our forward line has got 2 men working. We seem to be missing one. Yeah, Billy is not in a straight line. He's not working back. Ball's pushed inside. If this was a good player, he would be long gone before Billy gets crossed to steal the ball. So, bit of pressure again from Andy, gets us an easy ball. The next phase shows a bit about whether we should call for the ball or not. Billy is in a great position, Andy's got the ball. Billy calls, and as soon as he calls, the defender steps into the line of where he called, and the pass was no longer on. Good setup from the forwards here. We've got 1 in the flick spot, 2 high on the line, that's good. Early ball into Keith. Gets a free, sees the opportunity, goes round the man, gets taken out. Easy decision for the umpire, short corner. Interesting enough here, none of the people on the pitch seem to be aware of the clock time. So there's nobody anticipating that we may be doing something a little bit different. The short corner setup has gone awry. We have nobody on the left of the striker, and we have got Stuarty in the wrong place. We never have someone in that place. The hooter has gone, and we take the corner, and our guys cannot get up from the back in time. Into the second quarter now, and the South Africans have the ball. Billy makes a stick tackle and is pinged for it. So some very scrappy play takes place now. We get the ball, they get the ball, very scrappy. Eventually we turn the ball over again. Billy decides to get involved, hand on the back, stick tackle. Very, very easy decision for the umpire. And now we're playing with 10 men. So now the South Africans have an extra player, and putting us under pressure in this corner of the pitch. We're quite lucky to have got a head out there. Stuarty's taking the head outs in a fairly wide position, which is forcing Billy Dowie right onto the touchline. That really should be a Billy Dowie head. When the ball goes to Keith, Billy Dowie stays on the wing. He should be moving in to support the play. And now the ball has gone. Everybody has to move across. As the players come across, we'll see that the defenders have got completely the wrong body shapes to mark their men. They're all facing the ball, allowing the forwards to come over their shoulder if the ball's there. The defenders must get themselves facing the opposition line so that there is no opportunity for the forward to come round the shoulder. Great breakout from us. All of a sudden we've got the ball up the other end of the pitch. Henry holds it up nicely, gives it to Charlie. Charlie has nothing on. He keeps the ball, he doesn't panic. He waits, he looks for something to happen, he still waits. Eventually Eddie decides to make a run. Charlie still got the ball, Eddie makes a run, and Charlie gives the ball into Eddie in plenty of space. Eddie makes a move into the circle, gets what should be a short corner. However, the umpire says to play on. Eddie has a mishit at it. Ball eventually bounces to Budgie, who has a great shot, and the ball is cleared. ball in a very, very tight corner. Andy's come across far too many people in this side of the pitch. We need a bit more width, but we do really, really well to win a long corner. However, we've got plenty of time to take the long corner, but we're all standing around and nobody's getting in the right place, so the only place the ball can go is back. Poor pass to Billy Dowie and very poor body shape from Billy leaves us with the ball only going one place, which is backwards and backwards and backwards, and eventually we lose control of it. We get a lovely V around the ball there, which forces them to play the ball away from danger and into an area of the pitch where we're very comfortable, and they pass the ball to us, which is exactly what we want to happen. Not sure what Budgie's thinking here, but the glory pass across the pitch, which is intercepted. Lucky enough for us, the attacker has a very poor first touch, and again we're able to gain control of the ball. Keeping possession, looking for an opportunity to pass the ball out and around, and no problems. This is much better play. Get the ball. Keith gives a bit of a bobbly pass to Billy, not sure what to do with it, and instead of controlling it and maybe passing it back to Stuarty, who's on, Billy takes a mad swish and luckily enough gets away with it. Budgie still hasn't come out of the dugout from the start of the half, and he gets robbed in his own area. Not sure what he was thinking or what he was trying to do there. Not sure why Billy Dowie hasn't taken this. They've got a player sent off. There's no reason why we should wait for them to get themselves organised. We should have had the ball in play and off and running rather than waiting for them to get off the pitch. Really good opportunity to have a fast break, pressure on them, which we turned down. Great play here, great lead by Andy into the circle. Very unselfish attempted pass, but unfortunately the forwards had overrun him, and now they give away a cheap free, which enables South Africa to relieve some very intensive pressure. 5 men in the line there, no V for the head out, and again South Africa have very, very easy clearance available to them. So nice moving the ball round the back into midfield, playing the ball well. Poor first touch from Budgie there, turns the ball over, but we get it back again. And it's turned over again. South Africa looking for a way out into the centre of the pitch. Again, we've got good cover there, but concede a free. Good defensive marking and cover by the players. Again, unlucky to concede the free. South Africa remove the ball quickly into the middle, but again, we've got great shape and a great interception, relieving pressure. Good break on the left, not spotted, and so we go for the much slower build up round the back again. Lovely possession, looking plenty of space, no need to press it, no need to force it. Good players in plenty of space, keeping the ball, looking for patient time. Again, Eddie's got the ball, looking for a pass. Great break from Richard, down the outside, into the circle, and he's taken out. Lovely play, lovely patient build up, great run down into the circle. So another corner, but again we're not focused on what we should be doing in a corner. We start off, we have a man light in the circle, and we've only got the 3 at the top. The Budgie comes back, but instead of going to the left of the striker, he goes to the right of the striker. Good save from the keeper, and now we're in trouble. But the good news is Henry and the team have got themselves organised the halfway line. and Henry picks off the pass, and now we've got the opportunity to have a fast break attack on the other side of the pitch. Good ball, in we go. Keith picks it up, runs, nobody comes anywhere near him. Should do better, keeper makes a save. But that was a really good transfer of the ball from a really bad defending scenario into a very, very positive chance for a goal. Forwards are being very lazy here. No one's got themselves high at all. And eventually Eddie goes high and he gets the ball. That's the secret of going high. Into the circle again, but unfortunately the last pass is just not sharp enough. So we've got the ball again. We start on the left side of the pitch, looking for options. Good ball into the middle, back out and round. Keeping the ball. Brendan picks the ball. Lovely support, but why on earth do you want to go backwards at this point when you've got all that stuff in front of you? Stewie makes a bad decision to dive in, but luckily for him, Billy Dowie is covered right behind him and picks up the ball. Now we're able to turn defence into attack. Great lead up front again from Billy. And a brilliant ball to Richard. First touch not as good as it should have been, and that allows the keeper to come out and narrow the angle. But really good keeping of possession and going. Billy's very quick to see the opportunities, picks up the ball, takes it early. They're not set. Good ball to Richard. First time deflection. Keeper makes a hames of it, and Martin's there to score the opening goal. That was a good piece of play, keeping the ball one end of the pitch to the other, and good work from Billy Pollock there, seeing the opportunity of taking the quick free. So we've worked really hard to get in front now, so all we need to do is take the heat out of the situation and make sure we don't offer them the opportunity for a swift riposte. Long ball up the middle, deflection, and it's a head out. So again, we've got a really good chance just to calm everything down. Billy Dowie is a wee bit too wide, but nevertheless is clearly the key ball, and yet we try a ball through a forward stick into a crowded area. The ball, by the time it gets to Billy, with a slow pass, has got 2 men on. Ball comes to Carl, should go across the left, plenty of space, instead of which he keeps the ball in the traffic, and we're very, very lucky to keep possession. That ball should have got out of the traffic a long time ago. Billy's now got the opportunity, goes to Carl, who kicks it, and unfortunately now we're going to be under a little bit more pressure again. So here's a classic piece of wasting energy. Budgie is running about chasing after the ball instead of just forming a front shield and waiting for the ball to come back to him. He's running away from where the ball actually turns up. Eventually he stops running, goes a little too high, but really he needs to learn to keep the front line intact, not to chase the ball. Forwards are there to make them pass it to our midfield, not to pick up the ball. Another head-out scenario. Again, it's forced into a ruck of players. Why that ball didn't go out to Billy Dowie, I have no idea. It's just inviting all kinds of pressure. Ball does come to Billy. Billy to Carl. Carl steps around it. That's how we get it out from the back with no pressure whatsoever and not hitting it into traffic. Oh, Eddie comes forward and is unlucky with the way the clash happens. The umpire sees something that perhaps I didn't see, and the South Africans are reduced. Good to see at this stage that we managed to send a man up high, but I'm not sure that we managed to keep that forever. So now with the extra man, we've at least one man high. Stewardy's going high as well. Plenty of space now being developed. Good ball into the circle. And unfortunately, the last pass just doesn't come off. And they're able to scramble the ball away. Again, cheap free given away when they're under real pressure. And we're very slow getting the front line set up so it enables them to get the ball out of here. Free hit's gone against us, and a poor pass enabled us to pick the ball up in the middle of the pitch. Andy Debudgie, chance, good ball up into the corner, but unfortunately Stewart is not able to bring that under control. Ball pushed to where we wanted to go. Now the pressure should be applied. Unfortunately, we haven't applied it correctly, and they're able to sneak the ball out. Poor control, and the ball is picked up. Good lead forward again, but unfortunately not able to bring the ball under control. And there's no how to get. Slightly better setup this time. Keith moving in front is good. A lot of pressure. Keith in there. Probably a bit of a clumsy tackle, but no harm done. Then forwards not working hard enough. Ball's easily cleared to the far side of the pitch. A lot of work being done by everybody. Have a great read, great interception, and Richard is off heading towards the circle. Great stretch round. Budgie arrives late, perfectly positioned, ball comes across, shot goes in, well cleared. And again, good pressure, but unfortunately just not quite the luck that we would have liked. However, forwards have got high again, creating lots of space, corners taken quickly. Ball comes in, Budgie's in acres of space, poor first touch, however doesn't panic, works himself into position to win another short corner. Looking at the setup here, looks like things are in the right place. Everybody seems to know what they're doing. Great shot from Stewart. He hits the post, unfortunately, and then we concede a cheap free when we've got them under lots of pressure. We've got a lot of time, the ball's away from this side, a lot of time to get the W set up, but there is no sign of the W. Andy, for some reason, is now in front of Stewardy, who's now gone outside, and there's no sign of our other midfielder. We're playing far too deep. Ball's in the corner, we all now need to drift across to keep it in here. And again, we need to get that shield round the ball. However, the forwards are not getting themselves into position really quickly. And that's the end of the half.
The second half starts with a good passage of passes, but the ball gets trapped in the corner on the right side and should be transferred out. Eventually we get the ball back, and the opportunity to play the ball out of there is there, but again we drive back into the right. Eventually the ball is tried to move across, poor pass, but Richard gained possession, and now Charlie is totally free. But again, another poor pass to Charlie, too slow in front of him, means that the opportunity to hit the forward has gone, and the ball is turned over. Ball downfield to Stewarty, plenty of time to play the ball round the back, opens up the play, lovely Keith, not too wide, in and around, plays going, got the ball from one side of the pitch to the other, no panic from Charlie, Roger down the line to Henry, and lovely play, free hit, plenty of play, ball back to Charlie again, and again lovely opportunity to play the ball away from where it was, across the right hand side of the pitch, and attack from a different angle. Keeping the ball well. Ball should have come out of the right there. It's gone back into the right. They're all set up. They don't have to do anything to defend. We're just playing into the lines that they have. Okay, head out. Plenty of time to get the front line set up. Charlie and Henry need to be much more advanced. Charlie should not be deeper than Richard, which he is. Pressure is good enough all the same against a weak side that they give us the ball. Looks like they've sent a man high here. Rogers by himself, one-on-one, which we don't like to see. Hopefully Stewart's just helping to get the ball back to the other end of the pitch and has noticed that what's going on. No doubt by this stage the South African defence will all be set on the right hand side of the pitch, so the ball really should come out of there and across. Unfortunately, Charlie's gone too far across the pitch, so even if we want to transfer the ball to the left, there is no way to get the ball to the left because all the left-sided players are actually on the right-hand side of the pitch. Front line slightly better this time. We've got set up. Henry's just a little bit too deep. He should be slightly more advanced in this engaged side. Maybe too much of a gap between him and the centre forward, but otherwise starting to get the shape there, and we win the ball back with good press. It's exactly what we're looking for. Good pressure on the South Africans here. And now we've got the chance to move the ball out of the pressure, but again we go back into the traffic instead of getting it out. It's all very tight in there. You can see the number of South African players there. You can see how much space there is on this side of the pitch. Charlie needs to stay wider. He has to stop coming into there. Good to see we've got +1 at the back there. Ball to Charlie's on, but again we're firing it into the traffic. Very, very difficult to get through there. Eventually we get a corner from it, but it's just not percentage play. Much better if that ball comes around to the other side and we go forward. That might work against the South African side. It will not work against England or Germany or Holland or Australia. Corner setup looks good this time, though I'm not 100% convinced Richard looks like he's going to hit this one. If I was on the goal line, I would definitely be thinking it's going to the other striker. That one, has that come off the other post this time? No. So we really need to keep awake. The ball's gone across here. Charlie's got across. Henry's appeared from the back, but the other forward's been very, very slow in getting across the pitch. Setup's very slow, and we're lucky to get away with a very poor clearance from the South Africans. We're subbing now, but if we look across the pitch, we seem to be having people being detached from the play now. we've got players standing out there in zone A whenever the play is all taking place in zone E. And a one-on-one break here, again, shouldn't allow that to happen. We've got the ball back now. We've got everything to calm down. Keith's very, very wide in right back position. He shouldn't be so wide because it takes so long for the ball to get there and he's so isolated when he gets it. He needs to be playing in zone B, not zone A. He needs to make that pitch narrow to make those passes narrower. Good run from Richard. Big space on the left. Unfortunately, poor first touch takes the ball away from the danger area. And ball into the circle and a long corner is awarded. Charlie and Andy in great positions in the inside zones, but we pass it way wide to Keith on the A zone again. Not suggesting Keith shouldn't have got the ball there, but we didn't need to pass it that distance across the pitch. Keith needs to come in and we need to be looking to attack more into those zone B and C areas rather than the zone A. Henry, not a great time to exit because it's their head out, and you exiting means that there is no one up front to prevent the easy release of pressure from their defenders. Charlie seems to be playing a really deep role, I'm not sure why. Whereas Keith's far too wide when the ball's on the other side of the pitch, Charlie is the opposite. He's far too narrow when the ball is on the other side of the pitch. Very slow at getting set up again, allows South Africa to get the ball moving at the back. Poor pass gives us possession. And we've got a touchline ball in a very similar position to the one where we conceded the one-on-one not that long ago. So Roger's looking to see what he can do from here. Ball's coming slowly. And again, good ball to Richard, but he needs to step 3 or 4 yards back towards his own goal to enable Richard to give him the ball to play to Carl. That doesn't happen. And all of a sudden, it's deja vu again. One-on-one, Keith's far too wide. And luckily enough, the ball goes harmlessly off the far end of the pitch. We've learnt nothing here. Better sides will punish us for that. We're now starting to dribble a bit, and Eddie's far too far away. We're trying far too long a pass, which is easily intercepted. And all of a sudden, we have too many players too far away from the ball. And again, a much better side would roll that onto a foot for a short corner, or maybe even get a shot away. We just seem to have lost a little bit. Much more agile forwards would really make us pay for that kind of poor, sloppy play. Here we again don't understand why that hasn't gone into the inside channel where there's a spare man. Instead of which it's been pushed into a crowd of players and the ball has been turned over. Not sure what's happened. Our front line disappears completely way into its own half. Ball comes across the halfway line and we've nobody within 25 metres of the ball. All we're doing is dividing pressure. That's a horrible attempted lunge. The ball should have been guided away, not diving in like that. And we concede a very dangerous position. Luckily enough, good defensive play from Roger and Sturdy saves the day. All gone very, very silly at the moment. Now, good. Sturdy does a sensible ball, gets the ball across the pitch. Plenty of space. Down the line, brought it out fast and well from the back. We've got possession. Great opportunity here. Ball comes in. Round the back. Down the left. Good ball in. Good lead. Excellent ball forward. Well played. And before you know it, down the left hand side, we've won ourselves a short corner. Not sure what's going on here. We've got plenty of time to get set up. Again, for some reason, Stewarty Switzer is on the wrong side of the circle. We don't send someone in from there. And we've only got one shooting option, so I think everybody knows where it's going. Unfortunately, the shot goes wide. So plenty of time to get set up now for a head out from them. Quick sub going on. Oh, freeze conceded up in the top end of the pitch. Budgie's running back, but if you look now, Billy Pollock is the only player anywhere near the ball. We've got nobody else anywhere up in the half. I'm not sure where all our players have gone, why we're lying so deep. Fergus is a real mystery to me. All we're doing is inviting them to come forward at us. We've got to get that front line up there. We've got to keep the press high. Fairly obvious what Roger should do here. Keith's still far too wide for my liking. Ball goes across and get it across the whole way. But now everybody has to get across. Keith would be better to be closer. We get the troops across there. Looks very risky from where we are for Richmond View. Fergus' first touch too heavy, takes it to a bad place, and then he plays a ball he should not play. Again, we were sort of 2-on-1, but Roger sharpens the ball away. Sorry, that was a 1-on-1, so Roger goes back. Again, good ball. Keith, a wee bit narrower, would be a lot easier. Get the play going again. And now the ball needs to come across the pitching out of there, but he goes for the aerial approach, which is an equally valid way of getting past the block, and we get possession high up the pitch. Ball's taken off us, and all of a sudden South Africa have a chance to come out, but again, poor pass from South Africa, almost get an interception, but all of a sudden balls come down the pitch and it's a free against us. We're really allowing them into the game because we've lost the front line protection. And here's another example of us not being in the right places. Budgie gets away with coming back late, but he really should have been there much earlier. Lovely opportunity to attack. Looking to upgrade, cross the circle, nobody gets a touch on it. Now again, ball's gone off the pitch. We've got lots and lots of time to regroup. But again, we've got the sole person over, and that just allows them easy exit from their 22. And all of a sudden, we haven't put in the hard yards up front. And all of a sudden, everyone's going to have to run 50, 100, 120 yards each just to cover the ball. We've all been round the pitch and we've done a lot of hard work, and that's because the forwards didn't make the hard yards early on. Good play from Stewarty Egner getting the ball. Stewarty's done all the hard work here. All he needs to do now is settle things down. He takes a big swing, a big hit straight to the opposition player. Lucky for him, doesn't control it properly, but South Africa still get the ball. And now, from a position where we'd earned the ball back, we're all having to work extremely hard to try and get the ball back again. And there's a period of pressure. That's not a great tackle. Opportunities for the South Africa to get into the circle. We're having to defend like mad, and all because we have given the ball away cheaply from a head out. Ball's still in there. Still a lot of pressure. All of our own making. Luckily for us, eventually the South Africans play a ball which is mishandled and we get possession back. Again, the gap between Keith and Stewarty is too big. Though Keith's come in a little bit more now. It's better. I like that slightly better, but it'd be better if it was even more. Very early ball across from Fergus, gets to Keith, and we're off and rolling again. Being it that bit narrower gives him more options and passes, and also means it takes less time for the ball to get across to him. Aerial ball again, well picked up. And Andy's now got a chance to drive in towards the circle. For some reason, however, he decides to hit the diagonal ball, which is picked. Henry reads the ball brilliantly, picks the attempted clearance. A really heavy tackle is blown by the umpire, and a short corner is awarded. So looking at the corner, we look as if we've got a reasonable setup here. We've got all the right people. So from the setup, Fergus is there for the slip and Henry's for the keeper's pads. Looks like the cameraman prefers watching the sky to us. Corner's out. For some reason, Fergus is charged in, not Henry. Ball comes across, and either Fergus or Keith are penalised in that situation. Again, the corner setup looked right, but people made the wrong movements. We've got 4 men in the line for the W and no people in behind it. Not sure why Fergus is way back where he is. We've said we're not marking. We said we were playing zonal, and yet he's way back in his own half, creating all this space. The ball is being played there because he's gone back to mark the man, which is what we've agreed we're not going to do in that scenario. And that's the end of the quarter. Sorry, the final quarter's underway. Good passage of play, keeping the ball. Good ball out to the left. Keeping the ball still, picking it up. Back, across and round. Got the ball back in the left again. Roger picks good pass, Eddie's completely free. Opportunity. Unfortunately, just can't make the pass through. And South Africa come away with the ball. However, Keith is very alert and is able to pick off the attempted clearance and drive into the circle. Very unlucky just to come away with a long corner here. Ball moved out wide again. Eddie completely free in the circle. Keeper makes a good save and a good clearance by the South African defenders. Another good dribble forward. Up the players. Gets the opportunity for a half shot, and it manages to squeeze past the far post. Again, looking at the setup from this corner, we've got 4 people in the front line and none of them are near where the ball's being taken from. Ball's an easy pass to the left side. The good news is it's going to the left side, which is where we want it to go, because it's much easier to trap it there and to get it back. Good play from Richard here, plays the ball away from traffic. Security to Eddie. Unfortunately, Eddie dallies on it too much and has his pocket picked by the South African. Good opportunity here for South Africa to break. Good forward ball, but good cover by the defence as well. Roger gives away a free, but is very quick to retreat, so he's 5 yards, not giving away a silly short corner. And the South Africans hit an interesting ball. Again, we now have the ball. Same situation as we worked on in Dublin. Goes to Roger, everybody knows the move, but unfortunately for some reason Carl decides to run back when he was the free man, and then Sturdy absolutely shells the ball and is very lucky that Andy comes across and gets a deflection, otherwise that's into traffic again. Not sure what Carl was doing there. Good ball to Roger, plenty of time. He could have given it to Keith, especially if Keith got in closer. Can't see Keith because he's too far away. Tries to force it, gives away possession. Good interception from Sturdy Egner, which avoids the danger. Again, that's people having practiced things, not being able to put them into play on the pitch. South Africa, for a ball, picked off. Good control by Budgie at this stage. Not sure that's the ball that he wanted, but good play, good passing, good skill, and all of a sudden we're out of a tight corner. And now there's an opportunity to get the ball across to the proper side of the pitch, which is done. Bit slow pass, but again, now we're on the right and we've got the opportunity to go forward. Keith gets the ball. Can't immediately see anything. Does a quick self pass because Andy does a great rotation lead. Defender doesn't go with them. Ball to Andy. Great opportunity. Good save by the goalkeeper. Now we've got a corner. Good to see a couple of forwards heading up onto the back line. We could do with a centre forward in the flick spot very high. Eddie is too deep, so he's bringing lots of their players onto the edge of the circle. He needs to be much higher, which he's now gone. Andy drives in, and unfortunately it doesn't end up in a good place for us. Eddie was playing left midfield, but he's gone a bit high, so we're going to leave him up high, and Henry's come off to allow Fergus to come on and seal that midfield row. Long ball forward, they get to it first, surprisingly. Plenty of space for them on the left. I'm having to work quite hard to get across. But the good news is, good play from Fergus, gets himself in a perfect position. Lots of options, and then good ball forward. Unfortunately, good lead from Billy Pollock, but his first touch just miscontrols the ball. So we're in a bit of a scrappy bit of play here, one side to another. We get a free, and we're off at breakneck speed with no support. Good lead from Richard then, but we run out of ideas, play the ball behind Andy. All of a sudden they've got the ball again, so it's gone very, very scrappy. The game's starting to break up a bit, and we're not imposing ourselves on it with good control. Free against us, and again the South Africans are able to get the ball out easily, and all of a sudden we go from their 25 to just outside our 25 in no time at all. Good tracking back, picks up the ball into Richard, and good composure from Richard here, just taking the sting out of it, passing the ball across to where we wanted to be, and great ball out to Eddie. Unfortunately his first touch lets him down, but that was much better from Richard. Good shielding by Fergus, forcing the ball where we wanted to go. Good interception from Richard, again taking his time. Good square ball, good possession, and a good through ball into the space, allowing us to move forward. Ball into the circle, and a very, very poor tackle on Billy Pollock results in the umpire awarding a penalty stroke. I think at this stage Budgie is absolutely certain about what he's going to do. He knows exactly what the keeper is going to do, so he just has to wait for the keeper and then execute. Here we go. Keeper goes down, Budgie lifts it over him. Well executed. Good plan. That should enable us to calm the whole game down and just have an enjoyable last 10 minutes. Umpires insisting they weren't ready, so the restart will have to be taken again. And we're off and running. Not sure why Budgie is herring off up the pitch after the ball. Everything a bit frantic. We've turned it over. And Judy has gone on. He's to swap wings with them. However, Budgie takes his position, so Shirley should have filled in the middle in the meantime. He goes the whole way over and just leaves a huge gap in the middle of the pitch for the ball to be played into. Again, the tackling back is just not going to be allowed by the umpire. And now we've got to make massive strides across the pitch because we didn't get the front line set up properly. Good news for us is that the ball goes out of play, so we get a chance to regroup. Roger does the right thing passing it back, just need to take a bit of time, just a bit of patience. And then all Sturdy has to do is pass the ball across the pitch, but he goes for the 45-degree diagonal and gives it straight back to them. And yet again, we forage to get the ball back. Opportunity to start moving. Gaps appearing on the left here. Unfortunately, Fergus's pass is just a little bit too hot for Richard to handle. Okay. Again, we don't get the front line in the right place. Nobody's cutting the pitch at all. Ball goes across the pitch. Again, not a complete disaster because they're not that comfortable on the left-hand side, but maybe against a better side we would be made to pay a heavy price for that lackadaisical setup. Billy Dowie has a good crisp pass away from the traffic. Now this ball really has to come left. It doesn't, and it all closes out, so it has to go right. I don't know why Andy comes back in again left, but he gets robbed, and now they've got a chance to come forward and have a nice break towards the goal. Luckily enough, the forward just wasn't able to reach that one. But again, we're starting to show signs of not being mentally solid at this stage and not picking the right options. Again, easy round the back option. That's it. Keep the ball. Keep it away from them. Just keep passing it. Don't need to do anything clever. Nice short, sharp passes. Support the man on the ball. That's all we need to do. Going pretty well. Just keeping the ball. And then there's a bit of a miscommunication there, so the ball goes out of play and turned over. But that's the kind of style of play we want to do, to run the clock down and to keep them out of the game. So again, they've got a good piece of possession. We've got isolated forwards. Keep passing the ball. Our forwards aren't really joining in here when they could have been. Cameraman's got a funny angle. We've got the ball back. Free hit. Richards in acres of space, made himself available. No problems. Easy pass across to the left. No problems. Fergus has plenty of time to do something, but he runs with the ball forward and kills his own space, and then passes the ball back into an area of the pitch that we really don't want to be going to at this stage. Sturdy beats to charging forward, which is part of the course. Richard back in again, and again, nice and simple stuff. Just get free. Oh, given against us, don't know why that is. A great tracking back by Henry, who doesn't question the umpiring decision, but just gets back there and gets the ball. Not sure the dribble was perfect, but we've still got it. Gets the ball to Fergus, and all of a sudden we're working our way out again. Budgie's got it, and all we need to do now is play the simple pass again. So Budgie into traffic, turns around, gives the easy pass, man in plenty of space, and now we've got a chance to attack down the right, and that was from deep inside our own 25. Ball forward into the corner. Needs to come back, it does. That's good, just good keeping possession. Working the ball around. Andy needs to play it out. Does get the ball across to the left. It's really good play. Good lead from Sturdy Switzer out to the corner. Keeps the ball. Defender dives in. Sturdy gets a foot. Happy days. Ball trapped up in the corner. They're not going anywhere. No pressure. No one close supporting Richard. Goes for far too long a pass, and it's intercepted, which then means that we're under pressure and the break is on for the South Africans. And we're all having to cover massive distance to get back into the game. Great defensive play by Roger, getting himself in the right place, and good things happen if you keep your stick on the ball. So he gets a free. Good positioning, good decision making in the circle. Good play, just keeping the ball, passing it around. We're really not moving as much as we were earlier on. The passes have lost a bit of pace. Not sure what we're trying to do here. And the ball is now with the South Africans. They've got an opportunity. Our front line has disappeared completely. Budgie makes a massive charge up the pitch and ends up just getting on the wrong side of the ball, having used vast amounts of energy. Henry tracks back really well, stands the guy up and gives away the line ball. It's exactly what we needed at this stage. So South Africans looking for an opportunity. Poor first touch, great thought by Fergus. Should stop and pass the ball easily. Instead takes it into contact. We've turned the ball over again, and now we have even more defending to do whenever we had a lovely opportunity to have got the ball away. South Africans are finding it difficult to get an easy entrance into the top of the circle, which is good. Lots of hard work in the corner. Umpire blows against us. So it's free to South Africa. Again, they try to force it in there, and great play from Andy. Takes the ball off them, and we're able to bring it out. Oh, and it's again just slightly in front of the defender. not long to go now. Just need to see this thing out. Ball coming across to their right. Charlie gets across to guide but protects the line rather than the inside ball, so the inside ball is played. Feet given, ball across the pitch. Oh, not sure what Richard was doing there. Perhaps a tad lucky to stay on the pitch at this stage. It's unfortunate. Now we've only got 3 men going back, so the reserve defenders haven't taken a look to see if their counterpart is on. Perhaps it's not such a bad thing because the clock's running quite a bit, but clearly we need 4 men to defend the corner. Roger's on his way back in. Timmy's doing his best to hold up the time, have a chat with the umpire. And first corner to defend. Good first lead out, lineman's there. When the ball gets switched, Andy's maybe a wee bit too high. So, have to look at that. Good news is we've reached the end of the game. I know Timmy's not going to want to concede a goal. And ball goes outside the dotted line, so it's 2-0 victory.